Right, taking the plastic mud shields off, you have, unfortunately someone's wrenched these out, but you have an insert pushed in that has a screw in middle that swells everything up. You should just be able to unscrew them and then it'll pull out. This one, sometimes what you have to do, especially if someone's had a go to them previously, is pull on the plastic mud flap and then it will unscrew, because it just puts a little bit of extra pressure. Put your thumbnail underneath it and then you can get it out, and then that just pulls out quite easily. You need to disassemble all this, or as much of it as you can, so then you can get at it. I've had to move the wheel out of the way so we can get at this one. Let's just see. Oh, this one's just coming straight out. So as soon as you start it moving, you can unscrew it, drop the screw on the floor, and hopefully that should pull out now. It has done. So that's 2 out. I've already taken another 3 out. There's 1 up there, and then I should be able to just pull it out of the way. Right, I'll just do that off camera. Right, I've moved that out of the way and I've found a big load of crud. I'm going to pull that out because that will stop it draining and will cause the bottom bit to rust. Hopefully it's not already done so. This started off as just a bit of a bubbling in the paintwork, but after a bit of a prod it was all just rust around here, and it turns out that someone has, I think, it's been a bit of a rust spot, so they put a bit of filler on top, ignored the fact that it's rusty, put a bit of a filler on top, blown over it with a kind of spray paint, and sold it to us. I know where it was. Right, but what you need to do is cut back the rust with a wire brush on a drill, of which you need eye protection of some sort. I'm using a face shield because I wear glasses. And then perhaps maybe need, we'll ignore the fact of where they come from, files. So I've got a needle file set, I've also got a small file, and we'll just cut it back until we get to firm metal, or reasonably firm metal. And then what you need to do is paint it with some sort of, this is called aqua steel. It converts the rust back to steel. I think it's like an acid. It gets rid of the oxygen that the rust is on. And then, preferably, you need to coat it with some zinc based paint. That acts like a galvanised layer and stops it rusting again. Right, that's taken about 5 minutes, and as you can see we've got back to fairly solid steel. I'm going to have to do the inside as well, but that's actually under seal, is that bit. So hopefully the inside isn't as bad, but I can't show you that because I've got limited access anyway. But yeah, the inside needs doing, and then a liberal coating of aqua steel or similar product. I've started painting this on already. This is the aqua steel. It's like a white creamy liquid. I don't know if there's something blue on the brush or if it's started reacting with the metal. You haven't to clean it, the metal all the way off. There has to be some rust available for it to start activating. As I say, whether that's the reason why it's going blue, it might be, or it might just be that it's not a new brush, it's had something blue in it. But just paint it on liberally. It says, I think 0.25 microns minimum. I ain't got a micrometer on me. I ain't going to measure paint with it, so I'm just going to slap it on. And then it's got to wait 24 hours before you can overcoat it. And I'm going to overcoat it with zinc 182 from Isopon. It's a zinc based paint, and as I say, it acts like galvanisation. What I should have mentioned is that you want to make sure that all your bits of metal are pointing in. You can either do that with the back of the paintbrush, just then when you come to do the finish you can get a smooth finish. Alright, as you can see, the aqua steel has done its job. It's made a blue layer and everything's a lot firmer, so it's time to put a layer of the zinc based paint on. Start on the inside like I did with the aqua steel, so then not painting past myself, if you know what I mean. You don't want to be painting the inside with wet paint on the outside. So it's 2 thin layers with at least 3 to 4 hours in between. So I'm going to leave it overnight, put another layer on tomorrow. Right, here we are again. I've done a second coat of the zinc paint, and now what I'm going to do is put some fiberglass at the back just to give it some support. I've cut 2 pieces approximately the same. Now unfortunately my resin is a little bit on the thick side. I've got the activator in the bottom of the tub, so the resin may go off straight away, or it may take longer to go off because that should be liquid and it's a thick syrup. Right, I'm going to mix it together and then show you how to lash it on. Roll paintbrush, give the inside a quick dosage. Then the easiest way when you're doing an inside job like this is to paint the actual fiberglass. I'm going to have to be quick, it's starting to go off already. Alright, I'm going to have to find some more resin. I'll just try and get the edges done. stick this first sheet on. Right, I'll come back to you with some more resin. Right, got some more resin. So I'm sporting the back of it. Now you've got gloves on. You want to ensure that your resin soaks well into the glass. Messy job. Your best wearing gloves, disposable gloves, because it doesn't wash off. You have to wait till your skin wears out. Right, so the next piece is going to be the same. What we'll do is just soak this in the resin. It's easier to soak it in the resin than it is to try and paint it from the inside. Just move the paintbrush for a minute. Right, so the glass is fully soaked in the resin mixture. Right. Now leave that to go off until you can get to the next stage. It doesn't matter about bits like this will all sand off. Try and keep the outside as clean as possible. Just makes it easier on the sanding with the final coat. And then take your gloves off, and they should end up inside out, one inside the other, like that. It just stops mess. Right, here we are again. Fiberglass is set. So now I'm going to use, this is sandable fiberglass repair paste. So it's approximately a golf ball sized lump of paste. Obviously do it to the instructions that you've got. To about 6 mil. Now that's actually 2 runs. You mix it well together. I'm just mixing it on an old piece of cardboard. Bin it. just mixed in, and then trying to force it into the actual repair. And you want to end up slightly proud, so then you can sand it down. Right, here we are again. The epoxy has completely gone off, so it's time to do some sanding. Best with a random orbital sander. I haven't got one of those, but I've got one of these detail sanders, which isn't too bad. It's all, I've got 60 grit in this, and then I'm going to go down to 240 grit hand sanding. Right, so we'll fast forward. Right, when it's sanded smooth, it's time for another coat of the zinc undercoat paint. We'll slap some on the inside. That's just going to cover the fiberglass layer. Just to give it a little bit of protection. I don't think it really needs painting on the inside, but hey, what the heck, while we've got it apart, might as well. Can't see what I'm doing, so it's just a case of lashing as much on as possible, hoping that we're going to get it everywhere. As I say, it's not really required too much on the inside, because we've already had a layer before we fiberglassed, and then another thin layer on top. Want to try and keep, I've had to sand that detail back in because it matches front and back on both sides. I'll have to sand this again because it would be best to spray it, but I really can't be bothered getting the spray gun out for just this little patch. Right, back again. We're going to give it a quick sand down, smooth it off with 240 grit paper. Just want to take the ridges out of it, and then what I'll do is clean the area with IPA, and then I'm going to mask it off, spray it up with top coat. Right, you want to apply quick thin coats. Leave it probably about 30 seconds. I've gone a bit thick over here. I'll have to rub that down later. Right, that would be it finished, apart from the fact I made a right bollocks of the top coat. Got drips in it, so I'm going to have to let that dry for a good long time and then rub it down, and I might get away with tea cutting it, I don't know, but I've got drips in it all over the place. I was rushing trying to put a coat on, too thick a coat on, but it'll need a tea cut anyway, because you need to tea cut the edges in. But you've got to let it dry first. I think I'm going to sand that and give it another blow over. Bit disappointed in myself there, but it may look a bit of a mess, but at least it's rust proof and it's watertight now. So as you can see, there's some edges, those will need to be tea cutted in. Even if I'd done the job right, all these edges need tea cutting in. I've got some masking tape on there. I'll leave it, it'll come off, he says, as he tries to peel it off. Make things worse. Right, so that's how you get rid of rust, and then make a really bad coat on the finish. Right, like, comment, subscribe. See you next time. Cheers. Bye.